2020 National Flip Flop Day. Yes. And they're giving away free smoothies at Tropical Smoothie Cafe for anyone wearing flip-flops. The free smoothies are available till 7 p.m. Come to your free Tropical Smoothie Cafe for a free sunshine smoothie and toast to Camp Sunshine and all they do. That's my plug.
Have you been recording?
Oh, yeah, my red light's been on.
Okay. I have only recently pressed it.
Well, it's okay.
I'm glad we got the commercial in there,
yeah,
so I can work with that.
You can take my commercial and shove it where the sun shines because it's a free sunshine smoothie at Tropical Smoothie Cafe for National Flip Flop Day. They're flipping out over National Flip Flop Day. More flip-flopping than John Kerry in a presidential election season.
Love it.
All right, and there's as much politics as we're going to talk about today on the Completing the Shelf channel. Hopefully forever. That would be more than enough.
Yeah. No fun.
But today we talk about...
So the Comey report today, the IG report's out, and we just found out that there's a secret society of monsters that come through our closets every night to solve their energy crisis.
And they're organized by Billy Crystal and John Goodman. Yep.
Yes.
It's wonderful. Anyway, so welcome to the Monsters Inc. episode here on Completing the Shelf. He is Chris. I'm still Alex. I'm sorry to disappoint again that I'm still Alex. He's great as Chris, touching all the buttons and...
Ooh, that doesn't sound right.
I mean, you went there. I just know that there are buttons you push to make us sound better and sound more beautiful and appear more beautiful on the screen, whether it's our 8-bit forms or, our...
That is definitely more beautiful than our 3-dimensional forms.
Sure,
yes.
We'll go with that. But yes, we are now going to continue our diving through the Pixar films. Again, there have been... I think 20 or 19 up to this point. Today, officially on our day of recording, there is a second Incredibles movie, so that is film number 20, I think.
Yes.
My maths are good.
And we're calling this, and I haven't run this by my co-host.
Uh-oh.
But I think we're calling, so our last run was The Road to Infinity.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I was like, all right, what are we going to call this Pixar series?
Oh.
And I'm thinking, and I chose for the title page for our last video, Pondering Pixar.
Ooh.
How's that
Pondering Pixar. Yeah, I do like that. Welcome to our production meeting, everyone.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
This is behind the scenes of Completing the Shelf.
Yeah. Pondering Pixar. First thing that came to our heads. All right, we're going to go with it. So, yeah, we get to now call this the Pondering Pixar series for, what are we going to call this, season 3?
This is season 3 of Completing the Shelf.
There you go. Hey, you're part of the 3rd season, everyone. Congratulations, you made it this far. And all you've won is a free smoothie from Tropical Smoothie Cafe on one day only. And, of course, if you're listening to this on the day we don't record, then sorry.
And we lost all of our subscribers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the plot. Do you want to take it away this time?
Sure. So, in the beautiful city of Monstropolis, it is the monster world that is powered courtesy of one main business. It is indeed powered by energy. Like any good city, it requires energy, a fuel of sorts to keep the party going. And unfortunately, like we all had assumed, the monsters get their screams from human children. So the monsters incorporate... Yes. You've now shown a wonderful photo of our face, and you've already got enough power for all of Monstropolis for the next 35 minutes for them to listen to our podcast. And a few other episodes, probably. Anyway. They're not employees. They are known as scarers, the skilled monsters who run the floors of the building, scaring in the various regions of the world. Scare children, screams become energy, and voila. This is how the monsters come into your room. Surprise. They get your closet door. It's plugged into their system, and kind of like how a microphone works, as soon as the red light comes on, the show goes on for them. They go in, they scare you. But there's one scarer above them all who is head and heels above everyone else, pretty much because he's taller than everyone else, and that is James P. Sullivan, better known to everyone on the floor as Sully. He is voiced by the great John Goodman, and he is, again, like I said, he is the best on the floor, but it's a head-to-head race between him and his chief rival, Randall, voiced by the one and only Steve Buscemi. Good Steve Buscemi role, absolutely playing a villain. We like that. Sully's partner in crime, can't leave him out because he's got a very important eye to keep on Sully because he's got one eye. It's Mike Wazowski with one eye.
Wazowski.
And of course, they are under the wonderful tutelage and supervision of Roz, who is essentially half secretary, half boss, extraordinaire on their scare floor, as it's known as.
So little story. So years ago, I had a code teacher, and
you had to share the spotlight with someone. I can't imagine how that would go well for you.
It was awesome. It was great. I learned a lot. No, for real. It was a great experience.
Okay, good. Now I know I'm not sharing this microphone. It's a great experience for me too, by the way.
I like collaborating. Collaboration is great.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a student that looked exactly like Ross, and it was hard to stay professional sometimes. But anyway, continue the plot.
The plot continues with, unfortunately, one lovely door comes into Sully. Well, in a way, yeah. Sully discovers that his rival, Randall, has left his door on the scare floor and activated. And unfortunately, because of that, the door opens from the other side because it's not just one-way entry into the monster universe. Of course, these doors, when they're active, it's like any door, can open both ways. And a young human girl has entered into the monster universe. Now, normally, we kind of look at this like, what's the worst that could happen? Unfortunately, humans are seen there as a very scary, toxic, bad thing because we don't know what germs they're harvesting. They could absolutely be taking down the entire monster universe. Unfortunately, after several failed attempts to put this young lady back into her room, Randall sends the door back into the factory's vaults. Sully, not knowing that Randall has failed to do this and is hiding the young girl from Randall, tries to sneak the young girl out of the scaring factory. He unfortunately brings his buddy along because without Mike, Sully is somewhat not really good at the thinking parts, aside from going in there and scaring, it seems. Unfortunately, he brings the child to a date that Mike has with his snake-headed girlfriend, in a good way, because literally her head is just snakes and her monster head. It's kind of adorable, their relationship, actually. Schmoopshy poo, googly bear. Heartfelt panging of cuteness. Anyway, unfortunately, someone notices that there's a human child, and the CDA, the Child Detection Agency, quarantines the restaurant, which is really bad news for all the monsters there because they all have to get, decontaminated and searched and so on and so on. Somehow, some way, the two discover that really there's no harm in children in the first place. Sully grows attached to the young girl and gives her the name of what else but Pooh. Mike is unfortunately Billy Crystal, and he's anxious to get rid of her because Billy Crystal, I guess, doesn't know how to handle children. I don't know. The two smuggle her back in a factory disguised, I guess, like a baby monster, but it's a really bad one because it's like they got it from the human party's city. I don't know. If there was a monster party city and they had a baby monster costume, that would be it. But that's like getting a baby human costume for a regular baby. I don't know. That just seems weird.
I think they put it together with like a mop and a sack.
Oh, okay, good. That means they didn't spend any money on it, like two smart guys would normally try to do to solve problems. Don't spend any money on it. Just fix it ourselves. Good. Unfortunately, in the attempt to bring the child back to her human home, instead, I don't know. It turns into Randall getting his big boss, because somehow all Weasley coworkers have that way of being best buddies with the big boss. In this case, a man named Waternoose, voiced by James Coburn. Fun fact. He puts the door in which it was thought that the door that Boo had originally been existent upon was lost forever in the door shuffle. And there's this device known as the Scream Extractor that Randall is trying to use on Boo. Sully comes to save the day, destroys the Scream Extractor, which is really a tongue twister. Scream Extractor. Sorry. Randall and Sully, of course, have a lovely little tiff. Mike returns, helps Sully defeat Randall, and the two find Boo and flee, which is good. Randall, of course, pursues them to the vault of all the doors that exist in the entire human universe of children.
This is the coolest action set piece of the film, I think.
Yes, if not a lot of Pixar to this point, and still to this day, one of Pixar's best sequences, I think. So, but we'll get into the part of what we liked later. Through this process, Randall's pursuing them through these doors to the vault. Chases ensues with millions of doors as they move in and out of the vault towards the factory floor. And a massive thing uncovers through Boo's, what else? Not scaring, not screams, but her laughter. Her laughter causes all the doors to pop open at once, allowing these monsters to freely pass in and out of the human world. Randall unfortunately tries to eliminate Sully, but Boo gets a pair, gets her fighting shoes on, I guess, her pair of fighting shoes. That's what I meant. And tries to attack Randall. And Randall's still afraid of children, not knowing that children can pose no harm to monsters. It allows Sully to grab him. They trap Randall in the human world, where two humans mistake Randall for an alligator and beat him with a shovel, which is awesome. Probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah.
So Sully and Mike take Boo to a place where they think is safe. They try to trick their big boss, Mr. Waternoose, into revealing the plot with Randall. Secretly, of course, Mike is trying to CYA, recording the entire conversation. So that way, the Child Detection Agency knows that someone is behind the whole thing. Thankfully, Roz is in on the whole thing because, well, she's in charge of the CDA and top of being the Secretary Extraordinaire for the Scare Floor. As a sign of goodwill, Roz is, I guess, given Sully the title of CEO of the new Monsters Incorporated. And instead of allowing it to still be about screams, it's now about laughter. It is 10 times more potent than screams, which is a beautiful theme in and of itself. And then in the end, the two reunites, Boo and Sully, in one of the most heartfelt, heart-tugging segments to this point. And, well, yeah, you get the point. And we all live happily ever after. Ta-da!
Monsters, Inc., everyone.
Yep. So.
Well, you want to talk about the things that we like?
Well, yeah. I think that's about that time now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, the things I liked about this were the free smoothie that they gave out at the end of... No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. What I liked about the film was the realization, and I think this is like a theme I thought of in my mind, is how some people, like, they don't know how to deal with kids because maybe they don't have kids of their own, and they realize, well, kids are not as scary as we thought they are, and kids are kind of cool. Especially like if it's someone who never had their own children and then they're forced to have children thrust upon them to take care of. I feel like that's kind of one way that theme kind of pops up with Mike and Sully and how they react to Boo.
You know, as I was watching the movie, I'm like, every Pixar movie has a deep, relatable core to it.
Right.
Something that's really relatable and human. I don't see much in this movie beyond laughter is more powerful than fear,
No, that's a huge one. Yeah, I agree.
and that's good, but it's kind of on the surface. But then what you just said made me think, okay, so yeah, like people may not like want to have kids or don't like kids, because I've heard many people say, oh, I don't want any kids.
Oh,
But then
yeah,
once
right.
you're around them, it's infectious. Kids will worm their way into your heart because they're just so irresistible and so optimistic, like Boo.
I mean,
Like,
have
she's
you
just laughing the
met
whole
Chris's
time.
child, people? Like, seriously.
Yeah, she's pretty great.
Anyway, yes, you get that. They come into your life, and you're just like, all right, can't be mad at you. You're adorable.
And Boo is so playful.
Yeah.
Like, she should be scared, but she's just like, oh, kitty, this is fun.
Yeah.
And I really think they did capture a toddler
Mm-hmm.
pretty well, except she might have been crying a little bit more than
Yeah.
she did in there. But just the naive desire to play and willingness to attach on anyone
Right.
to find some fun. I love that part of the movie and the representation.
Yeah. Fun fact: the young lady who voiced Boo, she's now 21 years old. Make us all feel a little bit old, why don't you? Yeah. Thanks, Alex. You did it. You did it. I know, right? But yeah, I think there was great. I think Randall as a villain, Steve Buscemi did a great job in being, I wouldn't say forgetful, but appropriately memorable and having to be the counterpoint to Sully, being Weasley, just kind of slithering his way, trying to find any way he can to beat his rival. I
And
definitely like that
his
portion.
scare power is to not be seen until the last moment, whereas Sully is always seen, right? It's
Right.
about being seen for him. And, I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but the thing I do remember loving was Randall's just character design and the way he just blends into the environment. It's really cool.
The camouflaging is great.
Very cool.
Better than Drax.
More effective.
Much more. But yeah, you of course, I guess trivia question. This is what we did not do with our Incredibles episode, and I feel really dumb for not doing this. But I feel like we should incorporate a segment into each of these that we review, which is kind of brilliant if you think about it, because there has been one person, primarily one person, who has appeared in virtually every single Pixar film.
Sure.
His name is John Ratzenberger.
Mm-hmm.
You may better know John Ratzenberger as Cliff from the wonderful series known as Cheers.
Everybody knows your name.
And they're always glad you came. Indeed. But yes, John Ratzenberger, everyone's favorite postman, better known as Cliff Clavin. Clavin. Anyway, I guess the trivia question in the comment section below, name the character that John Ratzenberger played in Monsters, Inc. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, let's do that. And now that that's down there, why don't we go and shelf this movie? So I'm putting this on the third shelf.
Ooh.
It is not a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautifully crafted.
Mm-hmm.
Great voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
A fun story. Great action set pieces, like I mentioned before.
Yeah. But
But to me, it's not very memorable, and there's not a deep chord to it. It's something interesting about human life is not said with this movie. Beyond laughter's better than fear, and maybe I'm just not seeing it. Maybe I'm not reading it enough, and I'm missing the theme here. But yeah, third shelf, which means it's a good movie.
it is good. You're right. But I'm going to place this one shelf ahead of you on the second shelf. Quite simply, because when I think of Monsters, Inc., I take away as a child, I was not a true child when I saw it at the age of 14, way back when. But it certainly gave me the reminder that I should never be afraid of what's behind my closet. I should never be afraid of anything there. Nothing can truly take over my world, and I can be in control of whatever is put in front of me. That's what
Well,
I
and the
took
monsters
away.
are more afraid of you.
Right. If anything, adults for the future should be more afraid of the children behind them than anything else. That's what I kind of took away. And for me, there are a lot of little mini scenes that make it memorable, which are a lot of fun. Certainly, how the CDA is just this kind of overarching SWAT team. Not exactly the most I wouldn't say forward thinking, but they're like, oh, human, find the human. No, we must save everyone. Everyone is contaminated. Rah, rah, rah. So
They're very focused, yes.
yes.
You know, I will say one thing that I really love about this movie, and I think it goes for all Pixar movies.
Mm-hmm.
About 20 minutes of the film is just setting up how the world works.
Which is fine.
And I love it. Yes, Pixar is so good because they do unique ideas that capture some kind of really, really cool nugget of an idea and really expand on that and build a world around it. And the idea of monsters in our closet. I wish I was in the pitching meeting where they pitched this idea out and it was like, yeah, well, it's about the monsters in your pocket, but they need to collect screams to run their cities, but they're afraid of the kids.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a cool idea. Just like every Pixar movie, they build their world, and their worlds are really unique and really fun to learn about.
And I think that element of just giving us enough to understand what's going on without leaving us completely confused, but not going beyond that sort of length of time, knowing that their target audience is indeed kids for the most part.
Well, and a good story doesn't live in explanation forever. They don't explain every detail. They give you enough, like you said, and you piece it together how the world works. And so it's really artfully done.
Right.
Any last thoughts on Monsters, Inc.?
No. I feel like it, like I said, that door vault scene, certainly one of the most elaborate visuals. To think that was now 17 years ago, when they first thought that up, designed it, created it, and executed it, was just like, okay, wow, what else can they do? And as we've seen over the last nearly 2 decades, well, it's really been 2 decades since the genesis of Toy Story, way back in 94 and 96 when it came out, of course, they've been just knocking it out the park, for lack of better baseball euphemism.
Speaking of parks, shall we spend a moment talking about Laugh Floor?
Oh, yes. Why not? Because of this, there was really a dearth of in-theme park entertainment at the Disney theme parks from way back when this movie came out in 2001. So realizing that the power of laughter was far more powerful than the power of screams, about 5 or 6 years after the movie really came out and hit its heyday, the Walt Disney World Resort opened up inside the Magic Kingdom the Monsters Incorporated Laugh Floor. It is hosted by Mike Wazowski. It replaced a classic attraction in the Timekeeper, which unfortunately is somewhat forgotten. Unfortunately, because it was a fun ride, but in the same way, it didn't really hold the imagination and the attention of this generation. It's been replaced essentially in all the theme parks that ever existed at, but here in America, it was pretty much hosted by Robin Williams and Rhea Perlman. Anyway, Laugh Floor is great because it's air conditioned.
Yes.
Besides that, it is truly interactive in that the monsters do come out into the human world through the doors and host a show of sorts to to help get more power into Monstropolis.
By making us laugh.
Yes, by making us laugh. The show continues to evolve. New acts and jokes will always be added. Others will be retired based on the reactions and feedback of the guests in the show, who do provide some of the visual entertainment and the topical entertainment. You could still send texts to give them jokes to be used during the show. It's pretty cool. It's just a lot of fun. The interaction between the monsters and the humans is great. I feel like it's one of those rides that now that there have been new iterations of monsters movies, they can continue to keep it going. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really, really good. and impressive for a kid. You're like, whoa, they're talking to us.
Yes, it's 25 to
So-
30 minutes of air conditioning if you include the waiting times. So there you go.
A definite plus.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, shall we put this back on the shelf and move on?
We have placed it on our shelf, and we will continue to bring you more great reviews of our Pondering Pixar series here in season number 3. We will, of course, be providing a review of this aforementioned earlier sequel to the Incredibles film, the 20th Pixar film. And there'll be more. We may just, of course, go through our tops and, the rest of the movies that didn't quite make the cut, we might just talk about those as well. But if you have the answer to our trivia question, what was the character John Ratzenberger played in Monsters Incorporated? Or if you have feedback or your own opinions about Monsters Incorporated, leave them in the comments section below. Subscribe, like, share this on your social media platform of choice, except Zanga. I mean, if you still have a Zanga, I should actually, ask you to get rid of it. It's been a while.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
Zanga? Oh, man. That was like the bee's knees back in the day, man. There's like Zanga 2.0 that's like trying to make a revival, I guess. I don't know. Anyway.
This episode is not brought to you by Zanga.
Not brought to you by Zanga, no. Zanga essentially was a blog or like a MySpace or like a live journal before Facebook really ruled the day.
Okay.
But yeah, you didn't miss much.
Cool.
For Chris, I am Alex. We will see you soon as we continue to Ponder Pixar.